Panel number 4 on HR automation, the future of HR process management. And it will be my honor to introduce the extremely talented panel members here for this particular panel who are going to shed light on this particular session. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome, joining us first, Mr. Atul Tiwari, CHRO from Spice Money. Can we have Atul on the stage with a big round of applause? Atul, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Dr. Shashi Kant, Associate Director, HR, ER and IR from Flipkart. A big round of applause to Dr. Shashi. Welcome to the panel, Dr. Shashi. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, Mr. Mohit Saxena, Vice President HR, Bajaj Energy. A big round of applause to Mohit. Mohit, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐅𝐮𝐭, CHRO, Max India and Antara Senior Care. A big round of applause to Ms. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐅𝐮𝐿. Welcome to the panel, madam. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, Mr. Rajesh Kumar Tripathi, General Manager, NSIC. A big round of applause to Rajesh Kumar Tripathi. Rajesh ji, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nitin, Khindria, Head of HR, 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐻. A big round of applause to Nitin. Nitin, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next in this panel, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Shefali Tomar, Vice President, People and Culture, 𝐶K Birla Healthcare. A big round of applause to Shefali. Shefali, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Mr. Sandeep Singh, General Manager HR, Kusum Healthcare. A big round of applause to Sandeep. Sandeep, welcome to the panel. Glad to have you here again. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, Dr. Santosh Kumar Raut, Group Head HR, Origin Services. A big round of applause to Dr. Raut again. Welcome to the panel again, Dr. Raut. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for this huge panel of talented experts, I would like to now call on stage the honorable moderator, Mr. Vikram Sharma, Multi-Property Director of Human Resources from Marriott International. A big round of applause to Vikram. Vikram, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat, Vikram. So Vikram, all over to you. And that's a huge panel here. And looking forward to a great session.
Perfect. Welcome all. Pleasure meeting you all. And once again, thank you for being a lovely audience for the previous session, being patiently listening to Mahabharata. And as well, let's enjoy this session as well. Require participation from this side of the room as well. Future of HR process management. Quickly, since it's a big panel, 2 words that come into your mind when you read this topic. Yes, please. I start with you.
When we are talking about the future of work, and it's all about the technology which is coming up in the years to come. Now, humanizing the technology will play an important role.
2 words.
Humanizing the digital interface.
Okay. Digital interface is the word I get from Shashi. Over to Nitin.
So, digital transformation and productivity. Agility.
Transformation, integration, and productivity is a key word here.
So I think high engagement and high experience.
High engagement.
And high experience.
Okay, fair.
Hi, namaste everybody. For me, the 2 words would be newer opportunities and horizons.
Okay.
And the second one would be really getting the seat on the table for all HR leaders in the business.
Okay. Horizon, future horizon. I take that from the lady. Sir.
For me, it's reduced time lag.
Reduced time lag, a key feature because 24 hours were 24 hours, couple of years back, couple of decades back, couple of thousands of years back, and that's how it's going to be. 24 hours is going to stay, but our lives are going to be faster. So yes, important point.
Creating organization success. Creating organizational success.
Creating organization success is what I heard. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. The whole strategy bit, how does HR automation evolve or be a pie of the success of the organization? Okay.
Efficiency and experience. Efficiency and experience.
Efficiency, yes.
Yeah.
Time lag, connected. Efficiency words.
And experience, yeah.
For me, it is speed-based outcome.
Speed, time lag. Do I relate
Yes,
both?
that's it.
Can I? May I?
For me, it will be a productive action, and also it will be a reactive action
Proactive action
and reactive action.
and reactive action. If you could elaborate a bit on that.
If you are going for a paradigm shift from a traditional way of the ongoing workforce management, and you are going for the AI or any type of automation, always you will be having a sense of humor when you will be having a proactive action tracking system where you can analyze the things and you can track the things in advance. But when you are going for reactive action, yes, it is also a requirement where you understand to improvise yourself.
Perfect. Improvisation, efficiency, time lag, productivity, combining to the success of the organization, pretty much all are interlinked. If I have to pick up a couple of words here, productivity, we have this panel primarily based out of manufacturing. Gentlemen are from the government sector. There is from senior healthcare. There is again from IT, Flipkart. Any one of you would like to explain how automation has helped in your organization with the most simplest process on the shop floor? Anyone? Okay, here we go.
Of the shop floor, right?
Yes, please.
So I can take a lead here. It's not the shop floor, it's all stakeholders.
Okay, stakeholders,
So,
perfect.
so in any of the organization, we have groups and the subgroups. And this kind of an HR automation, digitization help in controlling these groups and the stalwarts within the company, right? If I need to give you the example, in one of my organization, I have joined and there were we call it 25 pillars.
Okay.
And these 25 pillars has the subgroups. So what time they are coming in, what services they are using in. So there is no control over it. So what we have did is that we implemented the HR automation system in terms of attendance, leave, asset management, right? And then these people has to come to me for the approvals, final approval. So everything has been set within the 1.5 month, and they all stalwarts become the all equal employees, right? And we become the equal opportunity employees, right? That kind of things we did. So which means that you have to ensure that if as a senior person of the organization, there are the people who are watching me, right? Either the shop floor blue collar employees or the drivers who are coming to my organization. Everybody is watching you. So how you can put your systems in place that nobody is taking it granted. So that kind of controlling is required to make your organization more professional, more uniform, more standardized. So that kind of things is required. Another example I may say that in many of the organizations we have that kind of policies giving the phones, right? So in one of the organization there is some grades and then you have a phone ability, some kind of 10,000 rupees marked to some grades, that kind of limits, right? And for those 5 to 10 big core people who are reporting to chairman directly, they can get any kind of an iPhone without any kind of an expiry of their years. So that kind of a thing spread across the organization, right? You have some privileges for someone, but you're restricting others for the basic needs like water cooler, all right? So once you put your HR automation systems in place, these kind of things can be taken care of.
Thank you for that. I see your mic on yours. Yes, please. Nitin, Atul, sorry. Over to you.
So I think what you asked, I'll give two examples.
Sure.
Very classic. One is, of course, post your HR automation or any digitization which you put in. One is this whole self-service has actually reduced a lot of pressure or workload which was there on the HR side has gone down. And that's one biggest efficiency which has helped. Like be it your leave attendance. And I have seen people used to come for biometric when shifts are there. They come and stand in a queue. Right? You'll not put, if you have 500 people or 1,000 people in one shift, you'll put 5, 10 biometrics. But now with mobile app, HR system, you can punch in your attendance when you are in that periphery radius, right? Through the mobile app, through geofencing or geotagging. That's how you are actually impacting the whole, your shift timings have changed. Or people have got that window of 30 minutes, which they used to stand in a queue to punch in just the attendance. It's something which we are just connecting and collaborating with their teams. This is one biggest impact which I have seen. The second is also the communication. With a lot of bot and chatbots and everything, the HR help desk, for example, I'm more specific, has gone away. I mean, your conversation, your queries, everything is being handled and answered by the bot. So there is no, and your faster communication, right? So emails, frankly, are dying. I mean, within the team, when we talk about cross-functional teams are working on one project, there is a connect, like earlier it used to be IP messenger or something. Now within HR system, there is Genie, chatbot. Through that, you can create groups, you can quickly, even faster than WhatsApp. And you can create those groups and you can operate. So your mode of communication, and we have measured actually 43% increase is there in the mode of communication or the pace of communication within our teams when they're operating, rather than when they are just communicating it through emails or through shared drives or other pieces which are there. So these are the two major impacts which I have seen broadly. I mean, there are many, but broadly this is what I wanted to add.
Lady, over to you.
Sure. So I'll give you two examples, but before I give those examples, I'll talk about the context of our organization to really, help the panel and the audience understand what productivity increase has happened for us. We are a senior care healthcare company called Antara under Max India, and we take care of seniors across multiple geographies through our products on residences, care homes, and care at home services. Yeah? Which means a lot of our frontline is predominantly doctors, nurses, caretakers. And there is, of course, a battery of sales team to really help in, selling our solutions and products across various geographies. Yeah? So the two examples I'll give is how did we look at productivity enhancement for our frontline teams, which is nurses, doctors, etc., through technology. Now, if all of us sitting in this room are staying in some 300 different locations within Delhi NCR, right? A punch in, punch out can't happen for a nurse who's getting deployed to a patient's home, right? So our technology helps us in getting their attendance tracked and linking their incentives paid out basis productivity through a geotagging mechanism. So wherever they get deployed, they just punch in, punch out basis the geotagging, yeah? What we've seen a trend in the last 12 months through just this is that we've seen our incentive penetration, which is a way of rewarding a frontline team to go to the duty that they've been assigned to. We've seen a massive shift, yeah? So our initial, around 18 months back, our incentive penetrations were close to 55% for our frontline teams. That's gone to above 80% incentive penetration, yeah, month on month. That's one example. The second example that I can share is for our large sales workforce, yeah, who work with corporates, who work with doctors, who work with pharmacists across various states in the country. We were struggling with a lot of sales productivity over the last 24 months, or I would say 24 months back. And what we did, we integrated our HR platform, which is a Darwin box that we use, with the sales CRM platform, which is Zoho, right? And what we saw that every lead could get tracked, the salesperson could get triggers, the doctors could get messages on WhatsApp. So there was a beautiful CRM and productivity linkage that happened between the HR system and the sales system, leading to, again, a massive productivity increase of almost 5x in the last 12 months. So those are two examples that I can share on productivity.
Perfect. I think so. Both examples are pretty much great, especially from the sectors from where Atul and Simar come in, where the workforce is not in a building, but spread across demographics, be it across different cities. Yes. You know, HR automation is in talent acquisition. We are using it. It's in payroll administration. We have heard a couple of examples on attendance management, so on and so forth. It is on performance management now. What other areas of HR do we think HR automation can be utilized efficiently and effectively in the future? Yes, please. I see the gentleman out there. Yeah.
So the next, normally we call as how the satisfaction level of employees. Though we have various HR functions where each HR person dedicated will be taking care of the outputs. But however, when it is coming to your rewards and recognition plans, ideally this is where we, maximum companies, they try to cuttle down with the process and the policies which nomination filing and all these activities. So this activity in HR automation is yet to come. It can become, now it is maybe 1x, we can go for the 5x also, and this is a major area where we can retain people. So this is the area I tell the reward and recognition plan.
So maybe rewards and recognition leading to engagement is what you meant?
Yeah.
Yes.
So second area which I feel which is more prominent in our aspects is the compliance management. So we feel like many companies have automated their compliance checklist and all. So there are around many laws, although we are now coming up with 4 wage codes as the proposal being given by the management or the government and the other sectors been propagating on that side. But currently the situation is there are around 100 beyond laws with segmented areas which we need to focus on, especially when it is a manufacturing concern. You have to look in the Factory Act and other aspects of the different acts being managed by the governmental norms. So how we cater that, how we focus that, and some is been on a manual side, some is on the other side. So catering to this certain aspect of the area of HR is very prominently required, and for this automation helps us. And many compliance management vendors and partners are there who are doing it. On a gist of it, we know where we are lacking up, where is the area which is required and attention, and we can cater to that. So I feel compliance management is also an area which we can look in for automation.
So there's a scope of automation even more in compliance and statutory from different segments across different industries. Yeah, because it's a very complex. And actually, one shoe will not fit all because different industries ask for different set of compliances with a different degree of involvement from various sections of government organizations. Maybe yes, true. Anybody else would,
I want to add one more
would
thing.
like to
So
add?
one of the amazing emerging workforce that has coming up in the industry is gig workforce. And of late, we have seen blue collar workforce doing a gig work right now. Like you have seen Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon. Also, they're doing some delivery or shipment of work through gig workforce. But at the same time, you will find many white collar jobs will emerge out of this gig economy in coming years. And all these people will be interacting through and will be completing their assignment through a online platform in a digital world. And there to ensure that digital transform in such a way that whatever these transactions are happening, people are having a valid service agreement, which is visible to every gig workforce between a company and a service giver. All the assignments, all the project that has been delivered or assigned to that particular person, at the same time, the payment terms and condition and the compliance around it. Since these people doesn't come under the traditional employer-employee relationship and they are legally not as an employee. And for such kind of workforce, which is increasing like anything in the space that we are catering right now, so this will be another field where the HR has to work upon in years to come. So many of the work profile may and land up into a gig workforce type model.
Okay. So gig workforce, yes, pretty much it is here in our country. But yes, there's a significant amount of scope when we compare it to across the globe. And yes, there's a scope out there. Anybody else? Shefali, I see you're waiting
Am I
patiently.
audible? Yeah?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I think beyond employee experience and all, there's learner's experience, which is very important and essential, which is learning experience. Okay. Now, in learning experience, I think automation has started, but it is limited to LMS. Okay, but I am talking about something where we are able to connect with an employee from day one and saying that you are a particular personality, a particular profile, and how do I take your journey inside the organization basis your particular profile. Say things like our typical way of finding a mentor and a buddy or a coach for an employee. We do not look for a very scientific way of putting them together. We just look for certain overlaps of probably experience, and then we just move and put that person together. But I think it has a lot to do with, if you know, some people know MBTI, then there is a profile. If we have those profile people and we have a HR person has an inventory of those profiles together, I can map to a right person so that whatever feedback we want to give to the employee, it might have a little more better assimilation, and you might be able to get better outcomes, and those behavior coaching or performance coaching might help. Similarly, the learning pathways can be really made, the onus of my learning will become given to the employee rather than on the employer, where I look at that how do I want to train myself and take my career ahead. So I think AI has a huge potential which HR people can use, and these come only as an ammunition. HR's behavioral science will still stay with them, but how do I use these tools and make it more meatier for the employee is something which I feel.
Oh, that's a very, very good point. It's a beautiful, and I must say, Shefali, you have put it in the best possible way. The intersection of human psychology with a personality of a type, with AI or with automation. Yeah, a beautiful intersection of that.
If
yes.
I can just add to that, because I was about to give a very similar example, Shefali. Shefali and I come from similar, we both are she's an ex-Max group. We worked together in the past. So, at Antara currently, we are actually evaluating a platform. And I wouldn't name the company because I don't want to brand the company here. What this platform really does is when an employee gets onboarded onto a platform, the platform really looks at the entire attributes of the individual, which means past experience, family background, education, MBTI, or any psychometric profile. And the platform, it's not an LMS, it's a learning platform, The platform then bases the role in which this employee has been hired, puts a list of a skill taxonomy for that particular employee. So for example, if I'm a project manager who's joined in operations, right? There is a complete skill taxonomy that gets deployed for me, right? On this platform, which will have more than 1,000+ courses on those skill taxonomies. That's one. Second, the platform also gives me world-class coaches for coaching me if I'm struggling with something. The platform is also Gen I enabled. And if I have a query on a particular day, if I'm struggling on interacting with a leadership team member, if a particular project is getting delayed, what do? I need some quick tips. There's a Gen I enabled feature which the platform tells me if I go and write a question that, hey, I'm struggling with this problem, what do? I get quick tips around it. So there are platforms that exist. We are currently evaluating. And inshallah, hopefully, we should be able to launch it soon.
What next? What do you want more in it?
What do we want more out of this?
Yes.
Well, why are we evaluating this platform is because in the last 2 years as Antara, we have grown from almost just 150 team members to almost 1,500 team members. We genuinely believe that as an organization at Max India, we have various, if you talk about diversity, we have from a baby boomer in our organization to a Gen Alpha, right? It's a very diverse organization. And when the diversity is so high, not everybody can be trained in a classroom. People will learn through different ways and means. And that's the whole attempt. If we have something given to them on their mobile devices, a person who's 65-year-old or a person who's just 24-year-old can learn at their own pace, depending on their own role that they are into. And not just limited to the role. Today we all want to learn. Today I'm wanting to learn gardening. It's got nothing to do with my role. Where do I go? Do I go to a YouTube? Do I get a coach? Or can this platform help me? The platform can help me if I want to learn about gardening, right? So the whole idea is, can we actually make an inclusive workforce and inclusive learning for everybody, not just limited to their functional and leadership and behavioral skills, but also somewhere, link it to their personal aspirations of learning and growth. That's the whole vision behind evaluating this particular product.
Big point on learning and development is where automation can be used across. Taking up from Shefali's point, the beautiful intersection of automation and personalities, if I may put it, will we lose the human touch? Any thoughts on that? Rajesh ji?
Before I start, just let me say something. कहते हैं कि न मंजिल है न मंजिल का पता है, न मंजिल है न मंजिल का पता है, मोहब्बत रास्ता ही रास्ता है. So the fact is कि the ends, the policy that is actually required to be in the company, that requires a process, and process is such a lengthy process कि वो सिर्फ रास्ता ही रास्ता रह जाता है. So in most of the organizations what happens, सारे रास्ते ऐसे हो गए जैसे हमारे देश की सड़कें हो गई हैं. आप चढ़ते चलो हाईवे की तरह चलती हैं और अचानक एक शहर पे आएंगी तो एक मोड़ पे इतनी पतली हो जाएंगी. फिर कुछ दूर चला, उसको एक नदी मिली तो उसने एक बहुत चौड़ा पुल बनाया, और उसके बाद फिर एक गांव आया तो पतली सी संकरी गली हो गई. So that's how our processes are. They have become person centric. The person who has developed a process has seen it in his own eyes, in his own way. There is lack of standardization in these processes, industry to industry, specific industry. So considering all this, whenever you are devising a process for, because before automation you need to clarify what exactly you want to do. Automation simply will translate it into an automated way, the software, maybe the hardware and all that. But prior to that, the processes that you have developed, the processes that you actually want to, that needs to be much more clear, much more, you need to reduce the time gaps and all this. कोई चीज़ करने में पहले, I have worked both in private sector, government sector. So initially, let me tell you, in the government sector, when they tried to use email services and all that, they thought that email is something which is to be used as a postman. So they do not write anything on that email that you have to do this, you have to do that, or blah, blah. So what they will do, they will write something on a piece of paper, get it scanned, send it, kindly see. So they will use the email only for that purpose, kindly see. Again, you have to open that attachment and go through it. Similarly, we see the processes today. When we are talking about the automation in the processes, we have developed so many, you go fill this box, fill the data, fill everything. After you do everything, they will say, now print it. You print it, again sign it, attach documents, and they will say, come in person, deposit it. आप लाइसेंस की बात कर लें, आप किसी भी चीज़ की बात कर लें हमारे गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम में, तो ये सारी चीज़ें बड़ी अधूरी सी होती चली जा रही हैं. तो they will require much more coordination and the way of thinking कि what exactly you want to do. Finally, first of all, you need to be very clear what this is the policy actually we want. And for that, what would be the kind of processes, कितना हम उसमें से reduce कर सकते हैं, कितनी activity घटा सकते हैं, and then only actually you will reach to the that automation part of that.
Very, very valid point when it comes to printing of what is already digital and then saying we are digital. Yeah. Okay. I faced a couple of examples on this. Mohit ji, yes.
So taking the queue along, in terms of automation, I think, see, it's a necessary evil and we need to live by it. And why would I say it's a necessary evil? If automation was the answer to everything, we wouldn't be having this conference in people. It would have been a virtual conference, and that is what we all were talking. Now let's look at the attention span. We speak a lot. We've been hearing panels on L&D, we've been hearing panels on automation and all that. Everyone speaks that the concentration span is gone. Now you need that bit-sized videos, you need that 30-second videos, you need to get the attention of people. Now, automation can only hold you for 30 seconds. What can hold you for 3 hours is an interaction like this. So that's the human touch. So do we feel automation is gonna lose the human touch? I don't think I have an answer, yes or no, but the perspective here is, if you really rely on automation as your answer to everything, you'll definitely lose the touch of existence. Because things will turn out to be very monotonic, will turn out to be very transactional, and that is where the human touch will get lost. So when it is about people, even the most sophisticated technologies will definitely coexist, but will not be able to predominate over the human psyche, because after a point in time, all of us have mobiles, all of us have gadgets. Our kids who are born nowadays, the young kids, they come with a chip, so their finger moves like this, right? We didn't have this chip in us. We had that human instinct. So if I give a newborn kid a mobile or a digital asset and put him there, how many minutes, how many hours is he going to stay on with that? He's going to stay on with that maybe for a day, for 2 days, for 3 days. Try it if you have kids at home. And then he's going to throw that off and come back to interactions and relations. So what's going to happen is, automation is to be seen as a boon and to be seen in a balance. You need to have the human touch with every automated move which you make in the organization. How do we create that fine blend? Organizations need to bring in automation because of the scale and size of operations they're doing. Yesterday I was dealing with a team of 100 people. Today I'm dealing with a team of 1,000 people. Obviously I cannot manage it the human way. I will need to get in automation. But if I make it completely transactional, will that team of 1,000 stay with me? No, they will not. They will move out. What am I doing? I'm using automation to look at the sentiment analysis, look at the pulse surveys, look at the predictive analysis, and look at what is bothering people. And then I'm creating in a spice element of bringing in that human touch, connecting offsites, meeting people, talking to them, and then saying, yes, we are one great team. And that kicks in the adrenaline and we make a difference. When you speak of PMS processes, a lot has been spoken of automation. You have PMS, you have online automation, you have 360-degree feedback, you have stakeholders feedback. All this is okay. The people whom you're talking to have not evolved to that level of behavioral sciences. They're ultimately people. They're like, yaar, mera manager pagal hai, kya bolta hai, kya karu main? What can I do? So he doesn't understand that language. But when the manager gives him all that feedback and gives a pat on his shoulder and says, koi baat nahi, ye theek nahi hua hai, but we have to do it. See, the results are very different. So what is it that the human touch brings in which automation cannot bring is the X factor which we people have. So I think both of them will coexist, and depending upon the scale and size, your automation needs need to be translated with respect to business goals. That's the answer to this question, I suppose.
Thank you very
Mohit,
much, Mohit, for
I mean,
that.
just what you said, I'm just taking it forward. He's talking about automation and usage of AI and all that. But the human touch where it comes into, I will just tell you a small example. In public sectors, there are Hindi departments for translation and for Hindi works. It is mandatory to have a Hindi department as well. Coincidentally, I happen to be Rajbhasha Adhikari as well. So what happens, there was an English statement like something to do with how much time will it take for the delivery. It had to be translated, artificial intelligence. कितना समय लगेगा पहुंचाने में, एक ऑप्शन आया, दूसरा ऑप्शन आया, गर्भ में कितना समय लगेगा. So डिलीवरी के दो मतलब निकल के आए, एक मेडिकल टर्म्स में डिलीवरी निकल के आया और एक साधारण सर में पहुंचाने की. अब अगर ह्यूमन टच आपका नहीं है, तो ये समझ पाना मुश्किल है कि कौन सी डिलीवरी का कौन सा ट्रांसलेशन आपको वहाँ पे यूज़ करना है. That's one of the examples किस लिए ज़रूरी है.
Fair point, I think so. We all are humans, we all have feelings, and at the end of it, what makes us a team is that bonding. How do we use automation to make bonding? A very abrupt question.
Okay, I may give you, we are a startup, and that
Okay.
too in a EV company.
Sorry?
That too in EV.
Okay.
And moreover, it's a three-wheeler, cargo, passenger, two-wheeler. And the supplier base in the three-wheeler industry, EV, is nowhere. FAME 2, FAME 1, then the companies depart from those kind of things. And industry want experts in it, whereas this EV industry itself is a 5-year-old baby. And we need some expert guys who have a 20 years of experience also. I don't know how to develop that thing, right? So, garb se niklega leke. Okay. And now we have a core values, right? So, one day we were talking about the DMS. Now you produce something, right? Mechanical, electronics, electrical, integration happens, then the vehicle comes in. That vehicles go to the PDI, then to dealer, dealer to customer, and there isn't a human touch everywhere. But now, what happened in our daily system, we send one mail, vehicle dispatch. Another mail comes in, vehicle received. Another vehicle comes in, vehicle has a problem. Fourth mail comes in, engineer aligned. Nothing is happening, right? Only mails come. Now mails converted into WhatsApp messages. The customer who has paid 4 lakh, 5 lakh rupees, he's in a trouble. Now somewhere you have enough 4 type of battery manufacturers partners, right? You have 3 different chassis suppliers. You have enough 5 different powertrain suppliers. Now nobody knows what is the chassis numbers, what's happening to which vehicle, whom to contact, whom not to contact. So what we did it, when you talk about this human touch, we have a core value which is called cohesiveness, right? And everybody talk about productivity, KRA matching. I don't know this much of things, but I match, right? Now we have hired DMS system, and then those who are into the sales-driven organization, there are the 3 S: sales, service, and spare. And everybody knows how to tag, right? And we have a HRMS system. So we have tagged people with HRMS system. We have tagged, integrated the HRMS system with the DMS system. DMS system, we have tagged dealership with the people. Everything has been tagged. Now every performance has been getting matched, right? So भाई तू किसी से भी बात कर, ये बता दे कि वो vehicle सही 24 hours में हुआ, 48 hours में हुआ, 68 hours में हुआ, 3 months में हुआ. And who is responsible? That's coming in front of us. So we talk about, have you lived up with your core value or not? So pursuit of excellence, agility, we talk about it, right? Are we living these core values day in, day out in our system or not? So don't blame. Work on your core values, put it that to integrate that to in your system, whatever you have, right? Either you have somebody from Elon Musk or Sundar Pichai, it doesn't matter, right? So that's the way I think businesses has to develop.
I see a mic in your hand, sir.
There is a reply to it what it's saying.
Sure.
कि मुझे मालूम है कि ख्वाब
That's
झूठे
what I
हैं.
wanted actually.
मुझे मालूम है कि ख्वाब झूठे हैं और ख्वाहिशें अधूरी हैं, मगर जिंदा रहने के लिए कुछ गलतफहमियां जरूरी हैं.
Thank you, Rajesh. Okay, let's hear it from the audience. How many of you have actually faced a similar situation, what Nitin, what he just talked about, with a raise of hands? Digitalization, but at times we went to make it simple, but it became complicated. With raise of hands, yeah, I see the lady there. You can raise it high. The others will follow, trust me. Okay, there's one. 2, the ladies are bolder in the room. Oh, there's 3 up there. Yep. Okay, I'll leave it there. But yes, there are a couple of instances or examples where yes, we do see this sort of a situation across. Yeah. Perfect. So any challenges
आपको
that
मैं एक और चीज बताता हूँ, ये automation में around 27 hours ago, this happened to us. I'm receiving a resignation on this HR automated system. He applied at 1:15 a.m. in the morning, which is night in our system, and nobody knows. And my chairman is hyperactive, right, like a kid, right? And he checked it, And he said, have you seen that? अरे भाई सीन तो तब करूंगा जब उसका HOD अप्रूव करेगा. Right? So I don't know. But I'm telling you the truth. Then you have to deal with this kind of a situations also. Somebody has lined up because we have as I told you, that supplies is the issues in the automotive industry, and that too in startup where you have a cash flows are the issues, right? And suddenly you receive the material on particular shift you have to produce. And because of this HR automated system, somebody applied for the leave, and that too not a 1 or 2 people, 5 people applied same leave, right? Now you haven't rejected, you haven't approved it, so they gone on a leave. Now do the production. सर ये गलत फहमियाँ हम तो गर्दिश हालात के मारे हैं, हर बाजी जीतने के बाद आ रहे हैं. जितने जख्म हमारे सीने पे हैं सब राजेश जी आप जैसे दोस्तों ने मारे हैं.
You know, which actually lets me come to a point here that we are a generation where we primarily have seen both sides of the coin. I didn't see a computer till class 9th, genuinely. And the one which I saw, it was like you have to remove your shoes and then enter the computer lab and so on and so forth. And now I see everything out there. But when we talk about the future, probably the kids who are born now, they won't relate to that era, if I may say, or they might not even relate to this era. Do we feel that the HR automation, specific, now I'm actually concentrating the focus on HR, the HR professionals of the future, how will they see HR automation? Because we compare, it's a human psychology to compare.
See,
What's about a HR manager 15 years from now, 20 years from now? How would he relate to it? We can only imagine today, but let me hear your imagination.
Talking about 10, 15 years ahead, I feel like when we have a generation's aspects from baby boomers to till date, and then now we're talking about the upcoming generation alpha, so, and 10 years beyond. So AI, machine learning, if and other interventions are going on, then comes the quantum computing. How the speed goes on, how the data move on in terms of speed and accuracy. That is a call. When quantum computing is in place and 15 years beyond, HR is there. So as you talk about human intervention and other things, the behavior, and as she has stated rightly, that how we personalize the personality in terms of hiring and the traits needed for a job. Way back, 2 years back, I have a video over the WhatsApp. I've seen that in a Volvo company, the car is taking an interview. The person is sitting in the car and he was giving, the JD is there, and the automation, the interview is happening through the car. So that imagination which I was having, that a machine is taking an interview, that too the experience, the person entering the Volvo car company is giving an interview in the car, and nobody is asking this, an automated question related to the role is being asked by them, and that is a match going on beyond what is answering, that is a role match is happening. So that is an interface which I feel like that gives a gist about how the future would be 15 years beyond, when quantum computing is in place and many data angle in terms of big data and other things are in place, and how we take in as an analytics, especially when we talk about outcomes, the business, the complexities and the VUCA and other complex volatility is happening in market. So the outcome of business linked with the performance is a big call. So as an HR, when we talk about human touch, we should also look in the outcomes of a business run, which is a high pressure in terms of how we modulate the business towards the outcome of the business, and linking or people efficiency linked to it. So that is, I feel that this is a high call, and we need to correlate a balance between the technology and or updation to that level. Because most of the things which I feel like when we talk about performance and other things, we are looking for a buying from the HOD, right? And that is the point which I raised in the morning session also. We are actually looking and expecting from the other cross-functional HODs. Even HR is not updated on the basic trends which is going on in industry in terms of analytics. When we are looking for an updation of technology through a software, we don't know the algorithm behind the analytics. So we should be firstly vigilant on that side, and how we correlate that outcome out of it is the call.
Perfect. Yes.
And one more thing that will come up as a challenge in the next 15 years. So you might have seen the experience of remote working and hybrid working also. And at the same time, you're also talking about people required to come to the office. So there is a time when all these three things will coexist within the ecosystem. May it be not happening for factory setup, but may it be happening for the service sector and the many other companies who are into consulting and all those things. And what Shefali has said in one of the talk in, just 15 minutes back, inclusive workplace plays an important factor, where a person who is a Gen Z, a person who is a millennial, at the same time the person who will about to born in the next 5 or 6 years, and probably they will be part of that workplace, and they will be digitally interacting to each other in the face of an organization. So how to make sure that each one of them is contributing, maybe hybrid, maybe remote working, and maybe people are willing to come to workplace and ensuring that they are giving their 100% out of it. And the most important part, which you have already talked about, is ensuring the human touch. And at the same time, sometimes you need to make your surveys very simple. Rather than putting some certain 2-3 pages, people will become impatient when digital things come up, and then people have said that the screen time is just for 5 minutes or let's say 10 minutes. So your survey should be very simple. How is your feeling as an employee on a particular day? Keep it as yes or keep it as no. If it is a no, there would be a requirement that rather than machine is talking to him, there should be some certain set of people who should talk to them personally, giving them a personal touch, so that the person feels that he belongs to that particular organization. At the same time, there are people who are caring about that particular piece of thing. So all these 3-4 things will coexist. Well, this is my take on this. In next 15 years, as an HR, we need to be digitally smart, we need to be evolved, and certain set of things which we are doing currently will get obsoleted, and then we need to have another JD or another JD for ourselves also to retrain, relearn again for us. That's my take.
A very important point. Simar, you have...
Because your question was 15 years ke baad kya hoga? Imagination, yeah? We just read, I think all of us read some 4-5 months back, the first neuro transplant link. Elon Musk has done that, right? A chip has been inserted into the brain to really understand how the brain functions. My imagination is 15 years later, it will be a phenomena where all of us will have a neuro chip, and then efficiency at workplace, emotions at workplace, what I'm good at, how my brain functions, how I can really contribute to the business will just be more automated at a click of a button, will just be a virtual reality. That's my imagination of 15 years hence.
आपका ना बड़ा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन था, ये एचआर वाले बड़े कॉम्प्लेक्स कर देते हैं चीज़ों को। अब आपका क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के मैच में कौन जीतेगा? राइट, अगर मेरे से कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछे और किसी भी इंडियन से पूछे, राइट, तो हम क्या बोलने वाले हैं? इंडिया। अब वो ऑटोमेशन जीतेगा भाई, करना है नहीं करना, कितना है कितना नहीं करना, जितनी जेब है जितनी चादर है उतनी पसारो और आगे बढ़ो, फ्लो विद द प्रोसेस यार।
Okay.
Right, and there is nothing which you can't hold. Right, tomorrow EV industry is building, and we are talking about hydrogen. Right, by the time diesel engine has reached to the level, diesel out, petrol engine reached to level out. So it is evolving. Right, even you and me are evolving every day. After living for 16 years, I'm in a sweet 16 right now. So that's right. So 16 years learning is still happening, right? Another 16 years learning will happen, evolve, right? Learn, break, fail, again do यार। अभी से क्या होने वाला है भाई, रहने वाला है ऑटोमेशन, और इससे टफ होगा, डेवलप होगा, इवॉल्व होगा, challenges होंगे, right? Today we have an HRMS out of before this. Now every HRMS company, we have an n number of software. Tell me one software, right, or one of the company which can run their payroll live on any of the HRMS system. Tell me one company. Tell me one company which can roll the live payroll, right, on 31st night. If your shift is getting off on 1st of the 6 o'clock in the morning, how you can run the online payroll? So there will be some of the practical aspects. Please learn those things. And evolving things can happen, and automation is the reality. Please live with this. How much you can afford, that you need to check. How much your company has a pocket to spend on it, that you need to check. Paying, unforcing, right? That's not the business will not survive, right? That's my take.
You talked about the overall business and yes, the money in the pocket. What percentage do you think HR automation fits into the people strategy in your companies? Yeah, Mohit. Yeah. Mohit.
No, not one word.
No.
So let me give the one word answer, but it's not ever going to be one word. So HR automation in terms of HR strategy, if you truly leverage it to the best, and like what my colleagues and friends have said, if you have the pockets deep enough to implement it, your HR automation is going to suffice 70 to 80% of your HR strategy. Your entire life cycle of human processes, right from onboarding to exit, can perfectly be matched into all these processes. Now, when we speak about the word PIE, P-I-E, right? So there's a performance element. With the automation, what happens is you're making your processes efficient, you're reducing manual errors, you're increasing efficiency, you're reducing layers of redundant manpower, so you're bringing in cost savings, you're actually making your system very agile. So the performance works, and this performance, as the organization scales up, 100 people organization, 2 people HR, doesn't matter. Acha kaam karega. 1,000 people, 10,000 people organization, how many people HR will you bring in? You will still have 2, but your automation will play the game. So that's where you leverage 30-40% of it from your processes being mapped in automation. Coming to the second element of PIE, P-I-E-I, the image part of it. When you speak about the image, if you have automation in your organization, because you have the millennials and the Zen Alpha and all of them coming in, they're born with this finger chip, they need automation. They're not gonna come to old ways of working. So they need that image. You need to create that image of being an employer of choice. You need to create that image of being tech savvy a company. You need to create that ecosystem where you can get that millennials and the bright minds coming in who just want to do everything in an automated version, though you have people controlling it. So that's where you will need to create that image perspective, and automation helps in building that image perspective that I am an employer of choice, I have the best of the best systems, I give you the most feasible working environment, be it remote, hybrid, or on the workplace. You get the same experience seamless. You don't need to stand before the HR manager, साहब मेरी अर्जी है इसको क्लियर कर दो. You get it, but you have the drawback. रात को resignation दिया, approve हो गया, chairman is asking ये क्या हुआ, and you're waking up, you're saying, sir, I woke up at 7, I haven't brushed my teeth, I didn't see this. That's a challenge. I agree, and that's the bad part of it. Coming to the third part, exposure, P-I-E. The E part is the exposure. When you're working in an organization with a scale and size, you have so many processes which you have to focus upon. If HR is not bringing in automation in place, and we're working the olden ways, paper pencil ka tarika, line mein aake khade ho, you're not going to cater to that 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 workforce. You have people working in remote locations. You need to give them that same experience, that same feel about your organization. You need to percolate down the values, mission, vision, purpose, everything. You can't do it without automation. You need to spread it across. And that is where automation works. So, and that is where you will be able to leverage your processes, be it performance management, be it succession planning, be it learning and development. All this get leveraged to the best when you have automation. So you get a 20-30% leverage from there. So on the performance, you get a 30-40% leverage. On the image, you get a 20 to 30% leverage. On the exposure, you get a 20 to 30% leverage. 70 to 80% is what automation brings in terms of creating that leverage. And that's where I say it's very important for the HR strategy. But you do need to have powerful leaders, because values, mission, vision, purpose, all these are influential. When I, as a HR head in my company, go and walk onto the shop floor, talk to people, do I create an aura? And when I speak values, values is something which cannot be translated into a digital system. You show them a video and say, this is value. No. Value is something like you go and you walk onto the shop floor, you want something to be done, you're the first one to do it. You tell your last in line person to come on time, you don't come on time, you have a geotagging 9, 10, you're 5 days late, half day salary cut. What about the leader? He's walking in at 12 o'clock. So there are leaders who come at 9 and they say, I'm here with you. So that is what is the human touch, but automation definitely creates a difference, 70 to 80%.
70 to 80 is the number that I get from you. Anyone from other side of the panel?
I think I'll agree to Mr. Mohit that it will be somewhere around, I will put it in the 80% with the analytics, what we have done in our organization. So this will be helpful. 80% is what the automation will do, and 20%, yes, obviously the human touch is there always.
Shefali, I see some hand movements.
So I wouldn't say that it is 70 to 80% for a sector like ours. For us, I think it is mostly, I would say 25% of what we put, because for us it has to be aligned with the business strategy, and then we create our HR strategy. It has to be clearly focused, where do we want to invest and put our investment there, and that's where we decide. So how does efficiency comes? If I really have to look at my shift scheduling needs to be better, then probably I'll look for that kind of a software or automation. If I feel that my employee experience, the mood score is very important, and that's why we have an AI. We are, I think, one of the only healthcare hospital company which is having a automated intelligence which is telling us every day the mood of an employee. So it is important, it is crucial for us, so we are doing it. So I think you can't raise a war of what I think my friend, my colleague was trying to tell, that have everything. You'll have to really align it to what is your business strategy. So answer is, for me, it is 25% of my strategy.
Perfect. While we heard about what the HR people have to say, as per your experience, as per your interaction with your employees or other stakeholders, what do they have to say about HR automation? Your call?
Most of the organizations जो उनके employees हैं उनकी सिर्फ एक ही feedback देते हैं. HR वाले, अरे भाई वहाँ तो कोई चीज़ गई तो गई.
वहाँ
कोई चीज़ गई तो गई.
So there are three perspectives again to it. Probably, see, you need to look at everything as you have a coin which has two sides, right? So if you really want to play it or leverage it better, you need to speak in the right perspective. Bring in perspectives on this. You have three layers. You have the management, which is part of your team, which is actually the governing body. How do they look at automation? They look at it from productivity, efficiency and cost budget. जैसे हमारे दोस्तों ने बोला, जितनी चद्दर है उतने पैर पसारो. So if I need to bring in automation and I'm saying I want to invest in 2 crores, 3 crores, come on, let's do it. This is the buzzword of the day and I want to do it. Obviously your management is not going to get aligned. Business is the prime focus. You need to look at that, whatever investment I'm doing, the return on this investment is proportionate to the benefits which I'm getting. So the management is going to look at it from 2-3 things. Data-driven decision making, your cost efficiency, productivity efficiency. If these 3 things fit the bill, and if the budgets are in alignment with their expectations, it goes ahead with them. Then you look at the employees. The employees are looking at automation purely from a user experience. इसमें मेरे को क्या है? What do I get free? If this is going to become critical to me, that it's increasing my load, it's increasing my pain point, I don't buy in. I don't like this automation. Bakwas hai, HR is useless. But if this automation is 24/7 available to me, I don't need to go and stand in queues. Everything is online. I have chatbots, I have virtual assistants, I have things coming to me. मुझे pay slip चाहिए, form 16 चाहिए, address proof चाहिए. Coming out, मुझे अपना learning चाहिए. Everyone may not want to learn, but there are people who are curious, who want to grow and learn. There's AI which is designed and telling this guy, आप ये कर लो, you will get a good career path. Good for him, he's learning. So the user experience is what the end employee is asking, end user is asking. You have the mid layers, the YouTube influencers, whom we call the managerial bandwidth in the organization. They are our change agents. ये managerial bandwidth जो है, if they can help in understanding that automation is helping them to be better managers, helping them to be more empathetic managers, I think then automation will play its right role, and we need to leverage this mid-layer bandwidth to bridge up the gap between management and the end user so that automation can be leveraged to the best.
Thank you very much. I think so we are pretty much on time. I would like to open it to the audience before we go back to the panel for the last views. Any thoughts that you have, any questions that you may have that you would want to ask?
Round of applause for this wonderful panel of experts here, and wonderfully moderated by Mr. Vikram Sharma from Marriott International.
The human touch has eliminated all of us. Again, it's not the automation.
Okay, with this, thank you very much.
Thank you to the panel members. And now I would request the panel members to kindly be on stage. We would like to call on Dr. Amuthambi Bhojarajan from L&T EduTech to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel of experts. Thank you, Doctor, for doing the honors. We'll begin with Mr. Atul Tiwari from Spice Money. A big round of applause to Mr. Tiwari for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Shashi Kant from Flipkart. A big round of applause to Dr. Shashi for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Mohit Saxena from Bajaj Energy. A big round of applause to Mr. Mohit Saxena for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Ms. Simardeep Kaur from Antara Senior Care Max India. A big round of applause to Ms. Kaur for her wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Rajesh Kumar Tripathi from NSIC. A big round of applause to Mr. Tripathi for his wonderful contribution. Moving next to Mr. Nitin Khindria from 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐴. A big round of applause to Nitin ji for his wonderful contribution. Moving next to Ms. Shefali Tomar from �CK Birla Healthcare. A big round of applause to Ms. Shefali for her wonderful contribution. Moving next to Mr. Sandeep Singh from 𝐓𝐡𝐞 Healthcare. A big round of applause to Mr. Singh for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Santosh Kumar Raut from Sorigen Services. A big round of applause to Dr. Raut for his wonderful contribution in the panel. And now, our honorable panel moderator, Mr. Vikram Sharma from Marriott International. A big round of applause to Vikram for wonderfully moderating this panel session. I would now request all the honorable panel members and the moderator to kindly come forward for a group photograph. And Dr. Amuthambi, if you could also join them. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have another round of applause for this wonderful panel here?